On today's episode of Press This, school is in session as we talk about WP Courseware and Train-up.
Love it. Hey everybody, welcome to another amazing episode of Press This. I'm your host, Matt.
And I'm Dan.
This is episode 61.
Jesus.
Churning right into the holiday season. Just
Yes.
Today's Black Friday, actually, the day that we record this.
Yeah.
Speaking of Black Friday, this is going to go out next week, right? So people will see this in time. Oh, no, they're not going to see it in time. Just for you.
I'll make it so they see it in time.
Just for you, we'll give a special 25% off all of our themes at slocumthemes.com. New site that we launched. I don't think we've done a show since we've launched that.
Yeah, I don't think we have. Yeah, since it's officially been launched now.
That's right.
I mean, that's awesome. So check it out.
Yeah, so go check it out. This is actually where this episode will air anyway. Slocumthemes.com. All of our themes, all in one convenient location. Mm-hmm. So check that out. Let us know what you think.
Absolutely.
Episode 61, we're going to look at more training module or plugins. How do you get people to take quizzes? How do you train people online? How do you educate them? Yeah. We looked at Sensei before.
Yes.
Right, from WooThemes, which is still one of the more popular ones.
Yeah, I'd argue probably the most popular. They call them LMSs, Matt.
Ah, interesting. LMSs, learning module systems?
Learning management systems.
Management systems.
But really, these are just, you're creating courses or modules or lessons, things like that. You want a software to do it. The difference is with Sensei, it was much more WooThemesy.
Yep, I get
so
it.
It had that sort of integration with WooCommerce and things like that. But it was also, while it was built into WordPress, it has its own sort of shtick. It has its own thing going on, its own ecosystem. Mm-hmm. With WP Courseware and WP Train-up, there is one key difference which we'll go into about how they're designed, what they're designed for. But they're both more embedded into WordPress core itself than like a product like Sensei is.
Gotcha.
Where it's more designed around short codes and sort of a knowledge of WordPress.
Right.
Yeah.
So WP Courseware looks pretty cool from the outside. Mm-hmm. One use license, $67, $397, unlimited, $137. So really not that bad.
Yeah.
Especially if you're reselling this, or if you're a school who might be buying this, to put it out there on multiple sites or multiple domains, not a bad price at all. Yeah. Some of your notes here says it's implemented really well into WordPress core, shortcodes into pages, and I too thought the cool certificate.
Yeah, you liked it too. We'll have a picture on the video I had what the certificate looks like.
Yeah,
and you can edit it. Yeah.
So let's talk about kind of navigating this plugin,
sure,
because there is a lot of stuff, and that's usually the running theme with all these things, right? I mean, everyone's looking for like courseware management, but they really want it. They want it like super easy. Yeah. It's like the same thing. Like, well, we want really super easy e-commerce. Yeah, that's great, but then there's like all these like little details that you eventually have to run into. So it's always a balance. That's what these authors are doing. There's always a balance between too many options and not enough.
Right.
I think so far this one looks like it's doing it fairly well.
It is, yeah. So the cool thing about it, the way it works, is that you basically create pages or posts, and you turn them into what are called like course items or course units, I call them specifically. What you do is you create a course, which is like the full thing, like WordPress training school, right?
Right.
And then a module would be how to install WordPress or something. And then within how to install WordPress, which would be the module, you have course units like, step one, getting a domain, whatever it might be, right? All those different steps that you have, that's how that's going to look when you're creating this program. And then you can have quizzes too and tests within those course units.
Nice.
So it's like 4 layers here going on. They have a drag and drop interface, which is very interesting. So you create the units first, the quizzes first, separately, and then you drag and drop them where you need to put them, and you can kind of rearrange them that way.
Yeah. That was probably the biggest standout thing for me, is how you manage these the quiz questions. I really like it. I think sort of like the only sort of nuance thing that I have is if we could collapse these questions just to make it easier to manage. Yeah,
because there's just so much going on.
Because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
Right. And if it's like 2 quiz questions, no problem. But like, what happens if you have like a 20-question quiz?
You have this gigantic WordPress page.
Yeah, you have a gigantic like admin page. But I think it's cool how they made like the floating options bar, and I like multiple choice, true, false, open-ended, or file upload. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really like the file upload. I never really thought of that. Like,
Yeah.
I guess it's like if you typed out a report or something like that, you could upload it. Or
Absolutely.
That'd be kind of cool.
Submit your report here. Here it is. I'll paste it in. Now, the professor gets all 30 of them. It's really cool.
Or if we were training WordPress developers on how to make a WordPress plugin, they could upload their plugin, and then Scott could
What are you hitting at, Matt?
Scott could actually correct it. Interesting. These are all coming at me on the fly here.
Yeah.
But I like that. I think ever since we looked at Advanced Custom Fields module, I keep saying modules today. It's Drupal. I don't know why. Advanced Custom Fields plugin. I've gotten really spoiled from using that plugin and their admin interface. Yeah, it's just freaking beautiful, and it's just great how it works. And I hope that more plugin developers kind of take that UI,
that collapsible sort of mentality. That
it's not even that. It's just so like it does that. It just flows easy, and it's just great. Everybody should check it out.
And then one last aside here with before we move on to TrainUp, with Courseware, there are tutorial videos and documentation built into WordPress when you download the plugin. So you can go to the documentation settings in Courseware and actually kind of take a look at how to do it if you're a little bit confused, which is cool. TrainUp!
Up
An exclamation point.
Yep.
Comes from the UK. It costs 45 euros, which converts to about $62 at the time of this video posting.
How many bitcoins is that?
At least, how many bitcoins is that?
That is like 0.00.
It's like 0.0. No, it's not. Yeah, at this point, right?
Yeah, it's $1,000
Just
per
don't
bitcoin.
get it stolen. But anyway, this is interesting because where WP Courseware is more for a sort of a classroom kind of thing, or quizzes and questions. TrainUp is actually designed, and actually the developer told me when I talked to him about it, that it's designed more for business training. So it's a great option if you're looking to, ideally, a great option for if you're a business and you want to teach about OSHA standards or things like that, whatever you need to do, training on the job, you can put your stuff in this plugin, ideally, and use it that way.
So I like the thought process. I like sort of seeing, it's not overwhelming, but it makes me wonder if we're missing stuff.
One thing I will say is, as these ideas kind of come flying into my head, Courseware more integrates into your typical WordPress website. So if you have a website existing and you have a side, just like a Sensei, it looks more like your website, and it just has those modules built into like a page. So you still have your bars and stuff. With TrainUp, it actually looks like you go to Ziki, in this case ziki.net/training. It looks completely different than your website does. It's just like its own thing.
Right.
So it really is good for that business sort of use for training, but it's not going to have that visual flair. It just has that function.
Yeah, it's more, I guess, if you were using this more internally, you weren't really marketing this like you're trying to sell courses. I see. And you had direct contact with the author, so that's,
with both of them. Yeah.
So that's what they were kind of saying. I like the managed resources idea. I guess a resource would be...
It would be the equivalent of, in WP Courseware, a module.
Oh, okay.
Or, I'm sorry, a course unit,
Gotcha.
Which would be like, this is the first section of this, or this is,
And then you could actually take some of those resources and put them in other tests. That's kind of cool.
Correct, yeah.
Kind of mix it up. I did like the time limit thing, which is pretty cool.
That is really cool.
So I guess if you're doing any kind of time testing, that would be important. Add a new question is the same kind of like just correct answer kind of thing, like multiple choice, or single answer. So you only get those two options, as opposed to like true, false, and open-ended questions and uploads on the other one. So, that's not that bad, I guess, but
it just doesn't give you as much.
Just doesn't give you as much. But I like the timed thing. It's kind of
time thing's really cool.
I don't know do you know what publish results was? Instantly manually? I guess that's if you wanted to get them to know what their grade was, or you would look at it as an admin.
You look at it first as an admin.
Very cool.
Very cool stuff.
So, in this kind of comparison, I guess I would go with WP Courseware. Over TrainUp. But, if you're not looking to market it too much, this one's not that bad for shorter money.
Yes, and it definitely serves its purpose. WP Courseware and even Sensei are going to be a little bit more kind of expandable. You can
Right.
do, there's sort of the sky's the limit in a lot of cases with those, where you really have a specific function for TrainUp, which is fine. You know, if you're looking for that, there's your solution, but it can also be sort of limiting going down the road if you're purchasing it for other uses.
Yeah. So that's those 2 plugins. If you got any other training, LMS stuff, send it our way. Leave it in the comments. Shoot us an email, contact form, all that good stuff. Once again, we launched our new site, Slocum Themes. Go ahead and check that out. That's where we're going to put all of our themes there. That's where, hey, if you want to support these 2 clowns, and you go and you buy yourself one of our themes, special Black Friday sale, 25% off. If you're watching this and you say, hey, Black Friday is over, shoot us an email, and I'll give you that 25% off anyway. Even if this is 6 months in the future and it's June and you're sitting on a beach, we'll give that to you. Go ahead and hit subscribe over on YouTube. We want to be the #1 WordPress show on YouTube, so go ahead and hit that. Anything else? I think that's about it.
I think we're got it just about covered, folks.
Nice. Awesome. So until next time, everybody, let us know what you want to hear, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.